Hi everyone, this is Sharon. Today I have a journal flip through for you. This one is going to be a little bit different than my typical flip through. This is a custom requested journal, and because of the request, I felt like it required a little bit of a backstory. So Karen requested a journal. She wanted a dark academia theme, and she thought it would be fun to have this belong to an eccentric British lepidopterist. So I took on that challenge, and that's what I made. But I thought our young lepidopterist, and see how many times I can trip over that word today, I thought she needed a little bit of a story. And so I kind of created one as I went through and created my pages and all the bit of ephemera and collected things that are in this journal. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of her story and kind of describe the journal as if she put it together and talk about how she may have collected things and my thought process behind that. I think it'll help you as the viewer, and it'll also help Karen understand why and how I used certain materials. So if we look at the front, I tied it up with this piece of kind of rough linen. I just think if our adventurer is out in the wild studying moths and butterflies, that she will just kind of find things here and there, thrift things, and get materials from wherever she can. So I also included this leather tie to tie it up as well. Now, I gave our young scientist a name. Her name is Millicent Price, and she's called Millie with an I by all of her colleagues and her family and people who know her well. And this is a journal that she's been using for quite some time. She's got lots of collected things in there. She used the cover of her favorite book, The Moths of British Isles, as the cover of her journal. It's got this beautiful dark leather cover. The journal down spine at the bottom needed a little bit of reinforcing, so she put this piece of ticking on there. And included with the journal that she keeps with her at all times are a couple of treasures. This little booklet she made just with some twine and some old wool fabric here for the spine. And Margaret Fontaine is her idol. Margaret was a Victorian era lepidopterist. She paved the way for other females in the field, so she really idolizes Margaret. And she made this little booklet kind of as an homage to Margaret and collected some of her favorite pictures of her. She, for the fronts of the pages, used some of her favorite floral plates. And then on the back sides, she's got these photos of Margaret, and she just loosely stitched those down to the page with some twine. So there's that one. Here's Margaret out catching butterflies, and then again some twine on the corners. Here's Margaret on her bicycle. Margaret in her laboratory. And that one. And then she just put a short little bio of Margaret at the back of the booklet. Also with the journal is some of her favorite flowers that she pressed and has been keeping. They're kind of treasured items, and she put them in this glassine envelope and then waxed it with beeswax just to kind of hold the flowers in place and kind of preserve them a bit. And that also served to make this a little bit translucent, so when you hold it up to the light, you can really see the detail on the flowers inside the envelope. And then there's a wax seal on the back. So as we take a look at the journal itself, it's pretty well stuffed, more than I prefer, but I wasn't willing to take anything back out. So Karen, you can take things out as you choose. Heading on inside, I imagine our Millicent to be a very thrifty and resourceful person. She does a lot of traveling around the world on her expeditions and her research. And so she's always looking for found papers and textiles. She's a lover of textiles. Her mother is a seamstress, so she has a love of fabrics and all things natural textiles like cottons and linens and velvets and things like that. So she incorporates those throughout her journal as well, little snippets that she collects along the way. She also loves to use textiles and wallpaper as kind of a resource for colors on matching them up with some of the moths and butterflies that she does research on. So that's kind of her little thing that she likes to do that's different than a lot of other people. So she put her name on the cover, and she found these old ledger sheets in a dilapidated warehouse somewhere in Poland. So she just confiscated some of that paper and put it on the inside of her journal. There's some wool fabric on the spine that she used, which was part of her father's old suit. And on this first page, we have these beautiful, I don't know, sometimes I'm going to make a mistake and say moth instead of butterfly or butterfly instead of moth. But these look like maybe moths to me. And here, this wing has been waxed. And one of the things she loves to do is some needlework. So she just took some thread, hemp thread, and created a nice little border on the edge of that wing. And that acts as a little tuck spot to put things. And she found this fabric sampler that had colors that were very similar. So she thought that was appropriate to tuck in there. And then this is a piece of fabric at the top that is very special to her. And she just pinned that on with a hat pin. And that hat pin belonged to her grandmother, so it's very special as well. She did do a lot of confiscating of her mother's fabrics and old clothing around the house. So here again is a piece of wool suiting that she used for her pocket and a piece of lace. And then in there she's got a ticket stub. And then she's also very much a lover of nature. So she's constantly collecting plates for flowers and birds. And she loves to explore different types of plants as well. Here's the title page of the book, and she keeps that in there and incorporates that as part of her journal. Here's a place for writing, a book page that she found. She likes to take a lot of different books, especially her old textbooks from college, and incorporate them into the journal. So here there's a little side tuck made from a dictionary page. And then in there is this image of one of her favorite owls, the tawny owl. And she used that as a sheet where she made notes about some moths she's studying. Here are some photos of the Lake District, the English Lake District, and she keeps those in here because that's where she's from and it is her favorite part of the world. And then in here is a map of the area, and then a little notebook with a page with some notes in it. Here's another little tuck, and she kept this postcard that she received, and it's really beautiful. It's got this, it's very plain, but yet it's got this raised three-dimensional, really pretty finish on it. So she didn't want to cover that up. She just put in, she's sort of on the side, a bit of a designer of home decor and fashion. So she likes to collect things like that too. Here are just some dream beds that she thinks she might have in a future home. Here there's a little side tuck, and in there she's got a cherished photo of some former classmates of hers at university. Some ephemera tickets that she's keeping. And then here in this tuck, she's got this little snippet of an oil painting that she loves. And that's just got a little piece of lace on it, stapled on. And then this is a piece of a photo album, a page that she likes to sneak little things out of her mom and dad's house that she can use on her expeditions. Okay, and here is a page from a bird book, place for notes. And then in this side tuck, she is studying shorthand. She's just learning it, but she finds that it comes in handy sometimes when she needs to jot things down quickly. And here is another picture of Margaret on one of her expeditions that she found after she put her little album together. So she just made a little journaling card out of that. Here is a beautiful piece of linen that she put in here as a page where she can kind of pin on different things that she may like to use in the future. Here are some samples of lace and linen that she really likes. And then over here on this little side tuck, this is a sheet with some etchings and sketchings that she's been doing. And she uses this page to, she backed it with these notes. Here's a listing and an arrangement of families of Lepidoptera. And she used to refer to it quite a bit, but now she has it memorized. On this side, there's just this pretty little envelope where she keeps some calling cards of people she doesn't want to forget and lose track of. And here again are some original book pages from this book. And she keeps some of her favorites in here. Picture of moths. This is just a little cluster on the top of some found objects, old wallpaper, book spines, and a piece of wool fabric. One of her other favorite things is to find little oil paintings, and she'll take them out of the frames and use those as pages in here as well. And this is one of her favorite areas, so she put that in there. And then this is a picture of a palace she visited in Vienna at one point. On this page, she's got this beautiful piece of lace that was made by her grandmother, used as a belly band. And in there, she's got this page from an embroidery book of some stitches she wants to try in her spare time. Up on the top of this page, there's just a little bit of texture paste to embellish. And then here's the other side of that 12 fabric, and just created a little bit of a pocket in there to house this piece. And there's another calling card of the person who sells these items in case she wants to purchase them in the future. And then on the back side is this plate that she likes of one of her favorite moths. And she also used that as a place to store some specimens that she made. Now these are waxed to make them look like real wings. And I just stitched them on the page. And then she's got notes on there and the dates she collected them. On this side of the page, she loves to make her own specimen slide holders because she thinks everything should be made to be beautiful. So she likes to use some beautiful images for hers. And then she put this image of the moth in there. Here's some of her velvet that she confiscated in her favorite color. Here on this side of the page, I've got a little tuck with this fabric piece, and in there is a sample wallpaper that makes a nice writing spot. The background page is a page from a Peterson's magazine, And so again, she's confiscating paper wherever she can. And then here on this side of the page, there's a little tag. She created the sketch of the Dora of her favorite library at university. She didn't want to forget what that looked like. There's a fabric tab on top, a place to write on the back. And since her mother was a seamstress, she loves to use some of her measuring tape to put in here, and sometimes she'll use that to measure things when she's out and about. Here there's a pretty side tuck, and then in there she's got this old letter from a very special person that she likes to keep, and then she's got this little piece of paper she wants to use to write her thoughts about the person in the letter. This middle section of this signature is very much a kind of research and kind of a recording area for her research. So she's got pictures of some of the moths that she's studying, and there's some pockets in here, a little card where she can write some notes, and then a monogram of her last name. And then there's some belly bands up here and some descriptions of the moths in the background, but she took little snippets of wallpaper and just used them as places where she can journal and write notes about the moths. And she loves to, like I said, collect wallpaper samples and fabric samples. And she also likes to use watercolor because she's very particular about getting the exact right shade and color of the wings on the moths. So she's always in the hunt for samples of colors. On this page, there's a canceled check, a nice old one, and then here is one of her favorite moths that she's got on this front circle, and it's a very rare one that she discovered, and she put a matte fragment on the back of the exact place she found it so she wouldn't forget. Another page from an embroidery book. And then in the center, she recycled an old envelope that she received and turned it into a little bit of a kind of a little place to hold things. There's this leather strap that goes across, and this strap is made from an old book spine. And this part of the letter envelope was turned the inside to the outside because she preferred that over the inside. I mean, she preferred to have it on the outside because it's so pretty. And then if we open that up, there's a place, pictures of some of her favorite plants where she can write notes on the back, and birds. She's a lover of birds. So she's got all of her collected favorites in here. Here again are some stitches that she'd like to practice in the future. Here's just a little trifold of some pretty birds that she admires. Eco-dyed paper on the back. Here's the other side of those specimen sheets, and again, she's using her watercolors to specify certain colors of the moths, and we've got some more wallpaper samples in there to use as places to record notes. Here in this pocket, she's got a picture of her mother and just some things that remind her of her mother. And then on this side of the page, it's embellished with some nice fancy stitching, and this is an old notebook page of hers from when she went to school, and she just refolded that as a little receptacle for this calling card and this little special piece she likes to tuck in there. And then over on this side of the page, there's a side tuck, and in there She always likes to keep up on the latest advances in seeds and flower plants and things going on in the United States. So she's collected these and keeps those in here. She might order some seeds at some point. And then she again recycled some old textbook pages that she can use for writing. Some more textbook pages, book pages. Here's a little journaling card with the bird on the front. In this section, she devoted it to some sample cards that she's collecting for some outfits that she would like to have made for her. She has an event coming up, so she's just collecting ideas of a nice dress that she might want to wear. And so in here there are samples of some embroidery and lace and velvet. And then in the center, again, she is collecting things for her future home and just decor things that she wants to kind of keep in mind. This is a beautiful oil painting that she loves. And so she's just created these little folders of some chair images and some wallpaper patterns that she might want. And these are just some stencils that I did on sewing paper, pattern paper that work really nice for that. And then here's another one, the beautiful vase on the front. And then again, a couple of patterns in here. For these pages, she took a piece of old ribbon from some curtains and tore it in strips and just wrapped it up the page and back down the other side and roughly stitched across the bottom. And that just creates some straps, belly bands, that can be used to hold papers in. So that's on both of these pages. And then on this side, again, another idea for an outfit with some samples of trims and things that she might want to use. And then on the back, she put this picture of the castle where the event is going to be held, just to kind of remind her of what the environment is like. Here, she's also very much a lover and likes to study drawings and blueprints and things, so she's always collecting those. Here's one that she found for a lamp, and she's just always amazed at these drawings. Here's one for a coat rack. And these papers, again, provide some writing room on the back if she needs it. Here's a piece of linen that's just roughly stitched in. This pocket is kind of a reminder of her mom and dad. So she's got a piece of wool from his clothing and some lace and a buckle from hers, and then also a piece of leather from a satchel that belonged to her dad. And then in that pocket, she's got this image, one of her favorite paintings, and she uses that to hold in these 3 tags, which have plates of some of the flowers she would like to explore. There's room to write on the back. One of her favorite birds that she discovered and actually saw in person when she was out traveling the world. And underneath there's this beautiful, really rich image of florals. And then here is a picture of a moth that she did kind of a rub transfer from one of Margaret's books. And she wanted to make sure she captured the patterns on the leaves. And she stitched that down to an old textbook page, and then also added an extra sheet from the textbook so she had some place to write. And this is Margaret with the number of the specimen on her pictures so she wouldn't forget. Here on this side is an old music sheet from the days when she used to take piano lessons. And then in there, she just tucked this pretty gold frame and a little journaling card. Here in this pocket, she's got this scientific page on rhubarb. She's always really interested in the medicinal benefits of rhubarb, so she kept this and just uses it for reference. Here in this pocket, just a little reference sheet on some trees and lots of place to write on the inside. And then here is an etching of spring in the country, which she just loves. And she tucked in there some of her favorite stanzas about spring from Robert Browning. Here on this page, she created a cloth pocket and put a little small pocket on there because in there she's got this butterfly specimen that she had mounted on this little glass piece. It was the very first one that she researched and kind of put her on the map in her circle of scientists, and so she will always keep that in a special place. And then on the back she had her initial monogrammed on there as well. And then in this pocket are just some extra offcuts of wallpapers that she can use for future reference. This is a picture of Millicent when she was just a young girl. And then in this back lace pocket, there's an envelope where she keeps all of her personal and most prized photos. Let's see if I can get this off without opening it. And in here, this is just an old envelope she recycled. And in there, she's got these pretty photos. Special gentleman in her life. Picture of one of her relatives. Her parents. And those she just keeps in that envelope. And that brings us to our last page with this nice, pretty floral image. And that is our journal for our young Millie Lepidopterist. I hope you enjoyed that flip through and the little backstory that I created for it. I had so much fun making this journal. And until next time, bye-bye.